Hey guys, welcome to the Daily Word Bible Study, a plain and simple book by chapter, and verse by verse study through the entire Bible. We are in Mark's Gospel, chapter 3. Now, in the last study, I said I wanted to analyze um, Jesus. I want to analyze Jesus' family. In his family, in we started off. I'm going to go back to it where they start off um, to, in modern language, stage an intervention, a family intervention, because they said he's out of his mind. I just want to kind of think. I want to analyze that. Okay, why did they conclude that? Why did they think that he was out of his mind? To the point that they were on their way. They set off to seize control of him. Now, I don't know what they thought they were going to do once they seized control of him. But let's set it up. First and foremost, I want to go back and to see why, to me, this is crazy. Starting with Mary. Mary was with him. And she puzzles me the most because you remember she receives supernatural revelation of what was going to unfold in her life, right? Um, in staging the birth of Jesus, God gave plenty of supernatural signs, supernatural witness to what he was doing. To John the Baptist's parents, right? And then at the birth of Jesus, you see the host of heavenly angels praising God as a witness to the shepherds who were guarding their flock by night. Mary herself received several witnesses. One, Gabriel the angel telling her that the Holy Spirit would impregnate her. When Jesus was born, you see um, 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 I can't think of the priest. Okay, the priest who came and prophesied over Jesus, and then I think her name is Anna, one of the, you can call her the mothers of the temple. She stayed in the temple day and night just praying. She came and gave witness to Jesus. So all of this Mary had. So now we advance 30 years. First and foremost, let's kind of go back. Let me go back for a moment. You see, first and foremost, she was a virgin, right? So she has never been with a man. And this is one of the things, the questions that she asked. How is all of this going to happen since I've never been with a man? I'm engaged, betrothed. So how, and so then Gabriel said, God got this. He's going to, the power of the Holy Spirit is going to overshadow you. Now, after Jesus was born, Mary resumed a normal life. So in other words, other than that event of the birth of the Messiah, right, which was spectacular, I did forget the witness of the wise men that appeared to her home a couple of years after the birth of Jesus, and again gave witness. But after 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 that event that Jesus was born, she resumed a normal life. Sorry, Catholics, I know you guys kind of pervert this story by elevating Mary, all of the whole Mariology. It's a man made up doctrine. Okay, but she resumes a normal life. Gabriel tells Joseph that you don't touch your wife until after the Messiah is born. So now after the Messiah is born, they have a normal marriage, normal relations, and they also have children. So one of the things we find out is that Jesus has at least 6 brothers and 2 sisters. Sisters being in the plural, but 6 brothers. And then they even give the name. 2 of the names we know of because they became prominent. One, Jude, okay, I think he's referred to as Jose, something like that. But we know him by the letter Jude. It is believed that Jude is the half brother of Jesus who wrote that letter. Then you have James, and James becomes the leader of the Jerusalem church. So you see James in Acts chapter 15, okay, and a couple of other places. And not only does James rise to prominence, but people fear James. You see that in Galatians, okay? So James becomes prominent, but he comes after the birth of Jesus. So then when they grow up, and this is where our setting comes in now, as Jesus enters his ministry at the age of 30. So up until this time, you see the family of Jesus who's with Jesus. They're with him. Let me go back. They are around Jesus. We don't know much about Jesus. We get one glimpse of Jesus at the age of 12. That when they went to Jerusalem, and by the way, that signifies how Jewish Jesus grew up. We would say that Jesus was certainly an Orthodox Jew. I mean, he's more than that. But what I'm saying is he grew up in a very Jewish home, Jewish practices. So 3 times a year, they made the required trip by the law. Okay, 3 festivals. And on one of those occasions, when he was 12, they would travel in these large groups. One was safety. Okay, so as they were traveling, they didn't really assuming he was among the crowd, they left. And in actuality, he stayed. And after about 3 days, they was kind of like, well, wait a minute, where's Jesus? Right? Almost like that kind of Home Alone situation where everybody took him out and all of a sudden, Jesus! Right? I'm kidding, right? But so then Joseph and Mary, they said they left. Now the other kids were probably with, again, family, friends, and they went back to Galilee. So remember, Galilee, just to kind of give you a picture. Where you at? Well, one of my little small maps here. So as they were traveling, so Jesus grows up. Let's see if I can see this one better. Okay. I don't know if you can see this map here clearly. But if you look at the map, no, all right, all right. So if you look at the map here, you see Judea at the bottom. So then you see Judea, And then you see way up the top, you see Galilee. 3 times a year, Jesus grew up in Galilee. And you probably can't know if you can see it, but Capernaum, and then there's Nazareth. And of course, when he in his ministry, he moves from Nazareth to Capernaum. Now, this event around when he was 12 years old, he actually, as they were in Jerusalem, which is down at the bottom. So they begin to travel. They're making their way back up to Galilee, and then at some point they notice Jesus is not with us. They turn back and go to Jerusalem. Okay, they turn back and they go to Jerusalem. Now I'm setting all this up because I'm showing you the family dynamic of Jesus. And so as he gets older, it's believed Joseph passes away because he's not mentioned in the public ministry of Jesus. He goes to Jerusalem and he starts his ministry. His family is with him. You see that in John chapter 2. His family is with him. Then they have an event. They go to the temple, and when they go to the temple, they Jesus in this recording, well, Jesus drives out the money changers. Now that's an interesting change of events because from that moment on, you don't see the family of Jesus with you don't see the family of Jesus with him any longer. So then as we go through this 3.5-year period of time, we're going to see this event here where they try to seize control of him. In John chapter 7, you see his brothers that are hostile to Jesus, taunting him. So they're through with Jesus, right? Or they're perplexed, they're angry, whatever. And one reason is that the Jews were expecting the Messiah, even his family. It's not that they didn't really believe in Jesus, it was that they were disappointed. They were expecting the Messiah, and now they get this guy who is bucking against the system. Okay? They were they were Orthodox Jews. Okay? So with that, let's go to let's get back. Verse 20 again. Excuse me. Verse 20 says, Then he went home, and the crowd gathered again so that they were not even able to eat. When his family heard this, now when it says home, okay, so then home would be Nazareth. So then he says, he went home and the crowd gathered, he was not able to eat. And when his family heard this, they set out to restrain him because they said he is out of his mind. All right. So now I'm going to skip down and get to the family part. All right. Verse 31 says, Then his mother and his brothers came, and standing outside, they sent word to him and called to him. And the crowd was sitting around and told him, Look, your mother, your brothers, and your sister are outside asking for you. But he replied to them, Who are my mother and my brothers? And looking around at those who were sitting in the circle around him, he said, Here are my mothers and my brothers. Whoever does the will of God is my brother and my sister. That is amazing to me because when you look at church today, people exalt family above all, even if the family members are scoundrels. I often tell people, if you have aspirations to grow in a church, and many people do, okay, many people have aspirations. You join the church, And you say, I want to grow. I want to, maybe one day I want to be associate pastor or something like that. But I always tell people, well, okay, that's a nice aspiration. That's a nice, ambition. But just look at who the children are. Just look at who the children are, because they are going to get preference over you. They're going to leapfrog over you. When they come of age, they got guaranteed jobs. Period. Doesn't matter if they're qualified or not. They got guaranteed jobs. They're going to get a job at the church. Okay? And obviously, the bigger the church, the better the jobs, whatever. And oftentimes, when you see these big churches, what you see is dynasties. Now, okay, you see dynasties. You look at any big church. I remember when one particular church, the person the pastor who started the church, very successful pastor, he passed away. And then you see the family gather around and they said, well, we're just going to see God who is going to lead. They know they knew they knew, wait a minute, they knew they were lying. They knew what they meant was in this family circle who's going to take over, right? That's what they meant. Okay? So these are family dynasties. That's, and so they will, again, all I'm saying is just understand that. I'm not even telling you to judge it, whether it's good or bad. Just understand that's reality. That there are people that automatically, there are people that automatically say that the son, and they treat it almost like the dynasty that you see in kingdom. So, for example, David's son was going to take over his kingdom, and then God was the one that out of David's sons chose Solomon, and you see that throughout the New Testament. So what I'm saying is that Jesus did not function this way. Jesus didn't function that way. When his parents, when his family disowned him, notice this. They said, hey, your family is outside looking for you. Who is my mother? Who is my brother? Jesus didn't play that. You wasn't just a shoe-in with Jesus. He didn't play that. He says, who are my mothers? Who are my brothers? Looking around at those who were sitting in a circle around him, he said, here are my mothers, my brothers. Whoever does the will of God is my brothers and my sister and my mother. Now, why did he diss them like that? See, even a lot of Jews and his disciples, except Judas, they stuck with Jesus thick and thin no matter what. One of the issues, of course, as I said earlier, is that people were looking for the Messiah. And here's the interesting thing. Even though you were disappointed that Jesus was not the Messiah, that he did not, that if he were living in this day, I'm speaking of, that even if you were disappointed, and they were all disappointed, you remember in Acts, even as Jesus is getting ready to ascend into heaven, the disciples asked him, are you restoring the kingdom to Israel at this time? That was their hope. Now, here's where, to their credit, that even though, okay, we're not understanding you, Jesus, about this, you're not starting the kingdom yet. We're not getting that. We're not. I don't understand, Jesus, why you're not breaking the foot of Rome off of our neck, but you're still Lord. See, that's the difference. You're still Lord. Even though I don't understand, you're still Lord. Why? This is what he has demonstrated and proven himself to be. And at this time, his family rejected him. And that's why Jesus now says, hey, who is my mother? Who is my brothers? He did not give them special privileges because of that. Oh, make way. Make way. Jesus' family's here. His mother's here. Set him down in the front. Now, notice what Jesus says. Who is my mother? Who is my brother? Those who does the will of God. That would be refreshing to see. The churches without these kinds of preferences, right? So the problem here, and again, I'm most, like I said, I'm most perplexed at Mary because remember she had all of the supernatural witnesses. Now, let me just say this: between this time and the resurrection, the family came to, the family did see the light. Okay, as I said, James became one of the leaders of the Jerusalem movement, and of course we have his letters. Okay, but it is interesting during this time how that as they set out to come, as they set out to seize control of Jesus, as I said, I wonder what they would have done if they would have encountered him. Interesting. All right, I'm going to pick this up in the next study, and then because I wanted to do that, you know, the the family staging an intervention on Jesus and got this. Okay. All right, guys. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to BP the Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comments section below. All comments are welcome. And I'll see you in the next study.